So when I think about the work that I've done in my life leading up to this point, it's crazy how all the experiences that I've had and all of the skills that I've learned have kind of culminated to make me the person that I am now, and that's why I'm good at what I do now. One of my first jobs was door-to-door sales, and that is a grueling job, but I did pretty well at it in the short time that I did it. I stopped it so I could go to college. I have a degree in Japanese, which is actually one of the things that has been the most useless skill for me. One thing that I really did a lot of growing up was travel, and I used to travel for a year and then I would run out of money and I would come home for a year and work, and then I would do the exact same thing over and over again. And I had a bunch of different jobs. I taught English for quite a few years on and off. When I decided to settle down, as it were, I thought I'll move back to New Zealand, I'll get a proper job, and then I will use that money to do like holiday trips like everyone else. I kind of felt like I needed some security. So I moved home and I became a travel agent. And in everything that I've done, I've always done my best. There hasn't been a time, probably since my 20s, where I just did a crappy job. If I have done a crappy job, I've always felt crap about it. I've always felt like, oh no, I need to do my best. So I put my best efforts into my work. And so as a travel agent, that was no different. I was a travel agent for about a year and a half. And in that time, I beat every record that they had at that company. I was the travel agent of the year in New Zealand for my company in 2009. And the thing that I loved about working there was not any part of working there, it was that I got to beat those records. And so what I was figuring out over the last probably 10 years of my life is that I like to see how much I can achieve. You know, like, is there a record? I'll try to beat it. Is there something that I can try to improve on? I'll try to improve on it. And so being a travel agent wasn't any of the glamorous stuff that I expected that it was going to be. It was literally just a lot of paperwork and a lot of details, and I'm not good at either of those things, but I did want to win. And so I won. And right after I won, I completely lost interest in the job, and I was completely useless at it, and I couldn't be bothered doing it, so I left. I wanted to start my own business because I knew that I had made other people a lot of money, and I wanted to make myself a lot of money. So I didn't know anything about running a business whatsoever, but I started it anyway without knowing what I was doing, and my first business was a huge failure. I started another business. I started an SEO company with some friends of mine, and that was an enormous learning curve and also a failure. But it was where I learned about websites, and I learned about SEO, and I learned about, actually that is where I started listening to podcasts and read the 4-Hour Workweek, which was the beginning of my obsession with digital nomadism. I decided after I left that company that I was going to leave New Zealand and go and seek my fortune in Thailand, in Chiang Mai to be specific, the mecca of digital nomads. Without any real idea what I was doing, I decided I would freelance, and I feel like this is so many digital nomads' dream, right? You fly somewhere and then you freelance and it's going to be great. But in practice, I couldn't find any clients, and by I couldn't find any clients, I mean that I was lazy and I had expected that clients would just come to me and that I would be able to do a great job of helping them. Now, I am not cut out as a freelancer. I'm just not. It's not my thing. You need to know details, you need to be good, get it going and getting clients. I just am not good at that stuff. And so it took me a really long time to realize that. I actually spent probably close to 2 years freelancing in Thailand and Australia, sleeping on friends' couches. I was poor the whole time, and I had no idea what I was really trying to do or how I was going to do it. So that was a huge fail as well. So I spent 2 years just failing. I don't want to dwell too much on failures, but they really just reached a point. They culminated in me being broke and depressed, and I had just been broken up with. And I was in Siem Reap in Cambodia with absolutely nothing. And it was my rock bottom. I stayed in a Cambodian village for a week because I literally didn't have anything. I had a little bit of money coming through from PayPal, so I was waiting for that to come through, and I was staying with some friends in this village with like mud huts, and I would take the cows out to the field in the morning with the dad of the family that I was staying with, and I would help you know, chop the vegetables and cut the vegetables from the pond that we were eating for dinner. Like, it was a really incredible experience, but it wasn't, because of where I was at in life, it wasn't, at the time I wouldn't have described it as good. I just felt like I had nothing. And I distinctly remember the very low point of sitting in the dirt on the ground with a cow's head resting on my knee, and I was patting this cow, and I'm like, okay, this is the worst. All I could think of was, I have nowhere to go right now but up. There's literally no lower that I can go. I'm going up, and I'm gonna figure this out. From sitting on the ground with that cow's head on my knee, I think it's been about 2.5 years to now. And I did a lot of stuff in that time. From that village in Cambodia, I decided that what I would do is I would go and I would swap accommodation for, or I guess I would just work in a hostel or something like that. So I went and did that in Cambodia. And then when I did a few odd jobs and had a few bucks to get a bus to Thailand, and I went to Bangkok, then I decided that I wanted to go and work for myself again. And I did that for another 3 months. I tried so many things. I wanted to set up a subscription box. I wanted to do ship things from Thailand to the States. I wanted to do a lot of stuff, but the thing that I was doing wrong was that I wasn't really doing any of it. I wasn't pushing past the initial idea. And so I worked myself into another hole. I was in my apartment in Bangkok this time, and I was crying on the floor again. And I was like, how did this happen again? Like, I was with that cow in Cambodia, and that was supposed to be my low point. How has this happened again? Like, I was up, I had money, and I had failed again. And so I was crying on the floor of this Thai apartment in Chong Non Si, and I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And so one thing that I was doing at that time was I was reading Dan Norris's book, 7-Day Startup. And because I was lazy, I thought, well, look, 7 days. I can do anything for 7 days. I should just do it. And I think that that book was the thing that helped me to be decisive. That book was the thing that helped me to be decisive, because I had so many ideas, and I hadn't made any of them happen. And that was my big problem. I had all these ideas. I was an idea machine. I was coming up with literally hundreds of ideas. I had a 500 idea list on my laptop, and I gave that list away. I was like, I'm so good at ideas, but I wasn't doing anything with any of them. And so what happened on the first day of Dan's plan in the book, it's like, write down some ideas and pick one. And that was the thing that really made a difference to me, because I had never just picked one and gone with it. I'd always half picked one and then found a reason, like, oh, someone's already doing this, or I might want to do something else more. What's the right thing for me to do? Is this the right thing? Do I want to be saddled with this thing for the rest of my life? I had all these questions, and then I would stop the idea there. And so this was a pattern that had been happening to me for literally years. And I was able to interrupt that pattern, pick an idea, and go with it. And so within that 7 days of the 7-Day Startup, I launched Nomadfly. And I went from crying one night to writing a post the next day to getting 2 subscriptions the following day for a total of $18. No one has ever been happier to see $18 than me on that day when I didn't know how I was going to pay rent the next month. I have a screenshot somewhere of 42 cents in my bank account on that day, and the $18 arriving in my account, my first $18. And from there, I was able to realize that it is not all the ideas that you have. It is not all of the plans that you have, or all the skills that you have even. It's implementation, it's execution, and it's pushing through all those doubts and fears that are in your mind and all your patterns that you're used to and doing something different. And so from that day with 42 cents and my first $18, I have gone within, I think it's about 14 months now, and I'm a 6-figure digital nomad. This is insane. This is the power of executing on your ideas. And so I was able to do that, and I know that other people can do that, and I think that digital nomads have this, there's kind of a stigma that everyone's just like bums by the beach earning 300 bucks a month so they can get by, and that is what I want to break. I have been there, and it is not pretty, and it's not necessary. And if you're happy to live like that and that's what makes you happy, then absolutely do it. I'm not speaking to you, but if you want to do more, if you want to push harder, if you want to take your businesses, your freelancing, your whatever to the next level, you can do that. I think people get into a survival mode. You know, I need $600 this month to pay rent, and then I can afford some food, and that's fine. Like in Bangkok, I earned 600 bucks one month because that's how much I needed. And magically, I was able to earn that much. Now, if you just change the way that you think about money, you're suddenly earning way more than you need to survive, and you're able to like enjoy your life. So that is a relatively brief history of how I got started online. As you can see, I hit bottom a couple of times, but I've learned from those experiences and I've done better and better every time. If you want to follow my journey, subscribe below, and hopefully we get to connect sometime.